Hi, I am Pim, and I will guide you through this tutorial. In this WEM Basics tutorial, we will look at how we can create application logic using WEM flowcharts. First, we look at some of the node types WEM offers. Next, we look at characteristics of those nodes. And then, we use those nodes to create the logic for our orders application. Let's get started. In the WEM modeler, we open the home flowchart. We see a flowchart with just one node, the start node. If you press the spacebar on your keyboard, the mouse cursor changes into a hand, allowing you to reposition the flowchart on your screen. This is especially handy when your flowchart grows. Let's start with an assignment node. An assignment node is used to assign a value to a field in the data model. If you drag the node onto the canvas, WEM wants to know which field you want to assign a value to. We select Order Date. As an easy alternative, you can also locate the appropriate field in the data model, and drag it on the canvas. On the right you see the properties of the selected node. An important property of an assignment node is the action. The options you have here are dependent on the field type. In this case we are looking at a date-time field. For all field types, you will find the action advanced, which allows you to enter an expression. The outcome of the expression will be assigned to the field. In this example expression, we use the function today. Let's look at another type of node. The decision node. This node allows you to follow different routes through your flowchart, based on the outcome of an expression. When you drag a decision node on the canvas, WEM wants you to enter an expression. Based on the outcome of this expression, WEM will follow one of the available exits. In this example, the expression checks whether the order number equals 1. The available exits can be found on the right side. Let's connect the yes exit to one node, and the no exit to another. As you can see, this leaves two other exits, unknown value, and default exit. If a field in an expression, in this case order number, has not been assigned a value, its value is unknown. As a result, the outcome of an expression which uses this field, will also be unknown. If the applicable exit is not connected, WEM will generate an error message, something you want to avoid. That is where default exit comes in. If the applicable exit is not connected, but default exit is, WEM will follow default exit. To avoid users to be confronted with error messages, I have made it a habit to always use default exit for one of the exits. In this case I replace the no exit with default exit. So now, yes will go to the left, and both no and unknown value will go to the right. Next, if we drag a data list on the canvas, WEM provides us with several possible actions. We can for instance choose to add a row, or delete a row. Let's select, Go to Row. Now, WEM creates a node with action, Go to First Row. When executed, WEM will select the first row in the orders data list. This means that the next actions will be executed on the fields in that row. The order date assignment node, for instance, will assign a value to the first row of orders, after executing this Go to First Row action. It is also possible to go to another row in the order data list. In that case, we need to provide an expression, telling WEM which row we want to select. In this example, WEM will select the row which has order number 3. These two nodes, the Save Database Changes node and Discard Database Changes node, are also used quite often. When a value is assigned to a field, this is not immediately saved in the database. Only after executing the Save Database Changes node, updates end up in the database. When using the Discard Database Changes node, updates to rows and fields will be reverted. This is used to implement the save and cancel functionality, which we will see in a minute. It is also possible to execute another flowchart. Let's create a new flowchart, and drag it onto the canvas. This results in a flowchart node to be added to our flowchart. As you can see, this flowchart has no exits. A sub-flowchart can have exits, but we need to define them ourselves. Let's do that. We open the new flowchart and drag an end node on the canvas. This results in an exit named end, being added to the flowchart. We can even add multiple exits to a flowchart, each with their own name. In our main flowchart, we can use these exits to continue the application flow after the sub-flowchart has exited. Okay, let's delete these nodes again. We will only keep the order date today assignment node, because we will need it later on. Let's put it aside for now. One important node we didn't touch yet. The interaction node. This node tells WEM to show a screen to the user. Let's create a screen, which will show the orders in our database. By default, an interaction node does not have exits, but we can add exits for each of the functions the user might want to invoke on this screen. Let's start with an exit to add an order. Similarly, we can add exits for editing and deleting an order. And let's add exits for handling order lines as well. We can now use this interaction node as the basis for our orders application. Let's connect the start node to it, to make the orders screen the first one to be shown when the application starts. Next step is to implement the add order functionality. We start with an add order node and connect the add order exit to it. After adding a row to the order data list, we set the order date field to today. Then, we create another assignment node to set the order number of this new order. This expression takes the highest existing order number and adds one to it, to ensure we have a new order number. In a later tutorial, we will look more in depth into how these expressions work. Now, we need another screen, where the user can enter the order information. Let's name it Order Details. We make it an overlay, to make it pop up on top of the main screen. This screen should allow the user to save or cancel the creation of a new order. So let's add 2 exits for that. To implement the save functionality, we can simply add a Save Database Changes node. This will save the added row and all its updated fields to the database. Similarly, we use the Discard Database Changes node to implement the cancel functionality. This will delete the added row with all its fields. Now that we have fully implemented the add order functionality, it is time for the next one. The edit order functionality. Because we can reuse the order details screen, we can simply connect the edit order exit directly to this node. Now let's work on the add and edit order line functionality. This is quite similar to the add order functionality. There is one difference, however. The order line row has an order reference field, which needs to be connected to the appropriate row in the orders data list. We use another assignment node for that. When assigning a value to a reference field, there is one specific action that stands out. The Set to Current Row action. That will connect this field to the currently selected row in the orders data list, which is exactly what we need. The remainder of the add and edit functionality for order lines is similar to the add and edit orders functionality. The last part of our application logic concerns the delete functionality. Let's start with deleting an order line. First, we make some room in our flowchart by moving these other nodes. Next, we add a delete row node by dragging the order line data list on the canvas. And don't forget to connect this node to the Save Database Changes node. Otherwise, the row is not deleted from the database. Deleting an order looks similar, but there is a difference. An order can have order lines. These should be deleted too. So before deleting the current row in the order's data list, we need to delete the corresponding rows from the order line's data list. We can do so with a single node. Beside the delete current row action, we can also choose the delete multiple rows action. Don't forget to tell WEM which rows to delete, otherwise WEM will delete all rows in this data list. With this expression, we tell WEM to delete only those order lines, which refer to the currently selected row in the order's data list. We finish our application logic by connecting these final nodes in our flowchart. This concludes the creation of our application logic. Time to try it out yourself. Creating a WEM account is easy and free of charge. I hope to see you back in the next tutorial, where we will develop the screens of our orders application. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. You can contact us at support@pim21.com.